Welcome to English Impulse, the podcast for English learners and, well, basically everyone.
And welcome to our Wellbeing Impulse section, where we dive into our physical, emotional, social, and work well-being, which affect us daily. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, everyone.
And today's well-being topic is about sleep, or the lack of it, as the case may be. As Dalai Lama said, sleep is the best meditation. What do you think, Annie?
More and more, I believe that is true. As I'm getting older, I seem to be having more and more trouble with sleep. And to be honest, the reason why I thought sleep should be the first thing that we talk about on our well-being podcast is that I have so many students who complain about not sleeping well.
Yeah, I can understand that, but let's. Are we talking about continuous sleep? Are we talking about intermittent sleep? I don't think as an adult, any adult sleeps 8-10 hours without the help of medication all the way through the night. So, how many hours sleep is recommended?
Okay, well, according to the Mayo Clinic in the US, 13 to 18-year-olds should be sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night, and adults should be sleeping over 7 hours a night.
I always thought that it should be the other way around. I mean, when you're young and you're healthy and you've got the whole day ahead of you, you should want to sleep less. And then when you're older and life gets boring and you'd like to sleep more.
Well, I understand your reasoning, Claire. I really do. And it's true that when I was little, I slept very, very little. But no, apparently sleep restores your body and it boosts your brain functioning. So kids are able to remember more. Kids who sleep well have higher scores in school. There's all sorts of studies. I mean, it supports your emotional health, it strengthens your immune system, it balances your hormones. And remember, when you're young, your brain is still developing.
Yeah, I get all that. So therefore, there must be serious problems at the moment with young people, because I think with social media and people addicted to their phones, they're getting less and less sleep.
I know. There was some studies that talked about young people being on their phones 10 hours a day. And I was thinking, so when do they sleep? Because if you're at school, let's say 6 hours, you're on the phone 10 hours, you have to eat, you have to do all sorts of things. When are these kids sleeping? And that's becoming a huge problem.
Yeah, I think so. So let's talk about us for a while. How do you sleep?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that when I was young, I slept very, very little. I would be on the phone with my best friend until 4 o'clock in the morning. Just like kids today, to be honest. But when I moved to Mexico, when I was around 24, that's when I really, for the first time in my life, began to sleep well. And I slept maybe 8 to 10 hours a day for a long time. And now, as I'm getting older, this is becoming more and more difficult.
Well, again, I mean, there are gender common reasons why people may lack sleep. It could be trauma, it could be stress, anxiety. But from a female point of view, I think we go through stages throughout our lives which changes our sleep pattern. When you give birth to children and you're suddenly raising children, you learn what a 24-hour shift is.
That's right. And interestingly enough, I did read some research that talked about after you have a child, your senses are augmented. So for example, you hear things at a level that you were not able to hear them before you had children. So you hear your child moving in their crib.
Yeah.
It wakes you up.
Exactly. These are natural instincts.
That's
but
right.
Women, we do suffer. We have our periods, then you have child raising, then you have menopause, which brings on a whole new idea as regards sleeping and how many hours you can sleep between hot flushes and...
Of course. Well, when I mention that my students have so much trouble sleeping, I really am talking about my female students and who tend to be over the age of 40.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So let's just maybe break it down to different types of sleeplessness, if you
Yes.
like.
Okay, that's a very good idea. So there are basically three different things we should be talking about. Sleep deprivation is basically when you might go a whole night without sleeping, or you sleep very little, 1 or 2 nights. It could be that you're sleeping less than is required. If we were doctors, we would call that sleep insufficiency. All right? So, but the thing that we should know with sleep insufficiency, you're physically able to sleep, but your schedule doesn't allow it to happen. All right? Then we talk about insomnia, which is a person with the right amount of opportunity to sleep, but they struggle to fall asleep.
Okay, that's interesting. So, insufficient sleep is that there are external reasons why you're not letting your body sleep.
Correct.
Whereas insomnia is to conciliate sleep is difficult, and
Yes.
therefore you
Well, no, to conciliate sleep or to actually stay asleep the whole night,
Yeah.
or both, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's some kind of internal hormonal problem happening that is not permitting the hours that you need.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it brings me back to intermittent sleep. I think
That's
it's not-
right.
You know, it's not insomnia. That 4 or 5 hours sleep, but then you don't actually get out of bed. You rest.
Yes, yeah, but that's where I'm a little.
Hazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that maybe some people would call that insomnia because you're not getting what the required hours, which would be 8 or more, or 7 or more hours.
But again, back to the same question. Does that mean 7, 8 hours straight sleep? I don't think any adult has 7 or 8 hours straight sleep. Or maybe I live in a different world.
I think we need to ask the experts.
I think so. I think so.
Okay, so let's talk about some ways to help prevent sleep deprivation. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna list 4 things, and you tell me which ones you do.
I'm ready.
Okay, number 1, go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. 2, follow a calming bedtime routine every night in the hour or 2 before bed. 3, avoid using digital devices before bed and during any nighttime awakenings. And 4, only take daytime naps that are shorter than 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, personally, I do tend to go to bed more or less the same time, and I do tend to wake up very early every day due to lack of sleep.
Okay. Bueno.
Calming bedtime routines, not really. Digital devices are always there, and I'm a strong believer in power naps.
Oh, nice.
So now, I'm going to ask you
Okay.
4 more. Do you engage in exercise every day for at least 20 minutes? Keep the bedroom dark, cool and quiet? Choose a mattress, bedding and pillows you find comfortable? Avoid caffeine, alcohol and nicotine intake in the evening?
Okay, so I was like on board with all of them. I was like, yes, I do the 20 minutes exercise. I have a dark, cool, quiet. My mattress is great. I avoid caffeine, but then that word alcohol jumped out at me and I was like, damn, it's true. On the weekends, I drink alcohol and I usually don't sleep well after it.
It's sleeping and being in a comatized state is not the same.
No, I wouldn't say I'm in a comatized state, Claire.
joking,
I
Annie.
would say that I have a drink or 2 of wine. No, but like the rest of them I completely follow. I don't drink caffeine, nicotine, I don't smoke. All the rest I follow quite well. So those are not difficult for me. I think the first 4 I read were more difficult.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to hear from our listeners. Like,
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah. Do you have trouble sleeping? Why do you have trouble sleeping? And what do you do to try to help fall asleep at night or to stay asleep at night?
Exactly. Give us some ideas. Give us some recommendations.
That's right. Because this is just the first episode. I'm sure sleep will come up many more times.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope that you join us next week for our next episode of English Impulse.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.